All right. I figured I would keep this going. Today's Sunday. I said I would do another 10 albums to keep this momentum going as I get to my book release. Today, I was kind of running out of things to talk about, and this might be the last video I make with vinyl records because I'm kind of running out of stuff. But I figured I'd speak about 10 records that feature vocalists that I wish I could sing like. If anyone ever watches these videos and watches my attempts to cover songs and stuff, I'm not a great vocalist. I have trouble just speaking in general, but yeah, I'm working on it. To sing from your butthole, that's what I call it. I have trouble doing that. Singing from your butthole, singing from your gut. And that's what you really have to do as a vocalist. I write about this in my book, I think a little bit. Like the hardest instrument is your voice. You could practice guitar 12 hours a day, practice drums, keyboard, whatever. But your body is like your instrument if you're a vocalist. And it's the toughest instrument. Like I try to do what I can with my voice. And like I covered Neutral Milk Hotel for my series this week. And I knew I couldn't sing like Jeff Mangum. So I had to do it like in a different mellow fashion. I'm still trying to find like an authentic voice. So I'm just like, I'm not trying to be fake or mimic people. Like when I was young, I was trying to mimic Bradley Noel from Sublime. That was like, I would just try to sing like him. And then it kept going like that throughout my life. Like I would just try to mimic people, Tim Armstrong from Rancid and other punk voices. Like it's not authentic. I don't even know if I have an authentic voice. I'm going to make a video later this week where I read a chapter from my book because I want to do an audio book, but I'm, I have trouble with it because it's like my cynicism or something. I can't get through it. I don't really like how my voice sounds when I speak like a narration like that. So I thought this was a cool idea because the 10 albums I selected, I haven't talked about these artists yet. I picked 5 female voices and 5 male in case I'm reincarnated as a woman, then I could hopefully sing like these women. And yeah, like I include that in my book, like my favorite female vocalist. For some reason, I got the urge to make that list. It started like as a top 10 list, and then it became like a top 20, and then a top 30, 40, and it just kept going, man. I hate making lists at this point because it's like you're going to forget to include somebody that you like. And yeah, I was just constantly going back, like, oh, I have to add this person. I love that album. I have to add this person. And it got really annoying. I don't like doing lists anymore. But yeah, I thought this was a cool idea to do today. And I'll just get right to the records, I guess. I'll start with the 5 female voices. This is Phoebe Bridgers, finished her album 2020, 2021, something like that. It's her second album. Yeah, her voice is just effortless, that effortless quality to a person's voice. She's got the cool thing with Connor Oberst from Bright Eyes. They did an album together, and I think everyone was just asking to have her guest vocals on random people's albums because it's just so good, man. And yeah, I would expect she just keeps making amazing music in the future too. Because if you have vocals like that, yeah, like it's just a gift, man. This is probably I like this album a little bit better than her debut, and yeah, it was great. It's weird to like music that like teenage girls like, because if I ever went to like a Phoebe Bridgers concert, it's probably going to be a bunch of like teenage girls, which is weird. But she's just good. She's a good songwriter, man. her voice is powerful. Like she did the scream at the end of that. I know the end song. Like she did that guttural primal scream, which was pretty cool. And yeah, there's no bad songs on this. I don't know. It's just indie folky and weird lyrics, and I don't know. I think it's really good. She's very talented. Yeah, like I've even tried to play some of these songs. It's weird, like because I have her voice in my head, and I'm not trying to sing like her because I can't sing like her. But it's just weird to try to play female vocalist songs. I tried to cover Patty Griffin. You can't even see this really. It's a dark cover, but it's Punisher. I tried to cover that Patty Griffin song, and yeah, it was tough because I kept hearing like her belting out the female vocals, and it was tough. It was tough to get through, and that's the worst one I did so far. If you're new to my channel here, every week I pick a song to cover. That's like a part of my DNA. I call it my musical DNA. And I picked Patty Griffin, Go Wherever You Want to Go, a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I hate the way I sang it. Like I was forcing it out, trying to hear a female vocalist in my head. And I couldn't match the tone or the breathing or anything. So yeah, it's something I'm trying to work on, but also not really. Um, you can work on your vocals and practice. And I feel like that's what I'm doing. Before I was doing this series on YouTube, I was like never practicing. I would jam on the acoustic, but I would never try to sing as a performer or anything. Because I don't consider myself to be a performer. I'm just a songwriter and that's it. But we'll keep the female voices going. This is Amanda Shires. I believe she's, well, I don't know if she's from Nashville, but she's currently resides in Nashville, connected to Jason Isbell. And yeah, she's great, man. This is, I don't know if this is her debut or not. Down fell the dubs, but it's just angelic vocals. She's got a unique voice, very clear, like just very clear voice. Watching her sing live is cool. Just from the videos I've watched on YouTube, I never actually saw her in concert or anything. But yeah, maybe I learned of her recently over the last 5 years. I became a pretty big fan with her other album that came out. And yeah, it's kind of country-ish. She has a little bit of a country twang, and I think she plays fiddle like, very well as well. Maybe she grew up doing that, I think. But yeah, you can tell she just has a natural gift because when somebody does it effortlessly, like she does it, or Phoebe Bridgers, it's just, yeah. I would recommend this to, even if you don't like country music. It's not like honky tonk country stuff. It's more folky, more soulful, and she's a great songwriter. Yeah, she does play fiddle or violin, whatever you want to call it, and she's crazy talented. This is the only one I own on vinyl, but her newest one is just as good, if not better. Maybe it came out a couple years ago, and this is another, I believe, another Nashville artist, Adia Victoria, a Southern Gothic. I learned of her maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I got completely obsessed with it. She has like maybe 3 or 4 albums that are just as good as anything I've heard recently in terms of folk and like that more dark Gothic country stuff. I would recommend this to blues lovers, folk lovers, soul lovers, just amazing, seductive vocals at times. And yeah, this is probably the one that I listen to the most. There was a good month or 2 months a few years ago, and this was like all I listened to. Not just this album, her other ones too. And when I was writing screenplays, I would listen to this all the time. It kind of just gives you a good, well, when I was writing like horror screenplays, like This is good mood music because it's kind of dark. Like the instrumentation is more folky, bluesy, soulful stuff. Southern, I wouldn't even say Southern rock, but it has a Southern bluesy feel to it. That atmosphere that she creates is very haunting. So I highly recommend her. Look her up, Adia Victoria. I think she's in the Nashville scene as well. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube about her. I don't know if this next artist is from Nashville, but she's a old country singer. Skeeter Davis, the hillbilly singer. And I don't know. I thought this was a weird cover when sometimes you go to thrift stores and you see the old country covers from the 60s and 70s, and they're reminiscent of this. Like they just look kind of weird. Not that this is a weird cover, but it definitely catches your eye. Like this is from what, the late 60s or early 70s. I'm not sure when it's from. But yeah, this is cool, man. Her voice is one of my favorite country voices. I think 1972, maybe. But yeah, her voice is, everyone knows that song. It was in like so many TV shows and movies. The End of the World song, whatever it's called. Don't they know it's End of the World? And that's the one song, I only knew that song by her for the longest time. And then I explored this album for some reason a few years ago, and it just knocked me on my ass. Like, it's very old country style. If you like that old country feel, old country guitar twanginess and all that stuff, then you'll like this. Dolly Parton, old stuff. You know, I don't want to say it's a cardboard cutout country because I love that anyway. Like anything from the old country Loretta Lynn stuff, and it's just more interesting to me than like some of the newer country stuff. And yeah, this one just grew on me, became one of my favorite country albums. Maybe there's a little gospel quality to it as well, but yeah, it's very much, it's different than the other ones. Amanda Shires, Adia Victoria are more modern artists in that same vein. I won't even really compare these styles, but this is the old time, authentic country stuff from the 60s or early 70s. But yeah, her voice is just, it's hard to pick your favorite country singer, but it's probably her for me. And I'm probably going to say her name wrong. Sorry, apologies. Aoife O'Donovan. I know she does stuff with like, um, there was a Chris Thile show on like NPR, or I forget what it was called. She was like the house band or something like that for, I don't know if she's still doing it. I forget the name of that show. That's might have been where I first heard of her, but she's done stuff with like Sarah Jarosz and other artists. Like, she's pretty popular. This came out a couple years ago, Age of Apathy, and whatever year it was, I think I said it was my favorite vocalist album because her voice is just crazy, man. Um, Recently, a couple years ago, I learned she covered the Nebraska album, Bruce Springsteen, and that made me fall in love even more. Like her voice singing the entire Nebraska album. Like if you like that type of folky stuff, go listen to that. You can listen for free, I believe, on YouTube or get it on Bandcamp. And yeah, her voice is crazy, man. She had another folk band in her earlier 2000s. I should have done a little bit of research because I forget what it's called. Crooked Still, or I'm probably totally getting that wrong, but look her up. I'm not even sure how to say her first name. Aoife. I, I apologize. I should have probably did a little bit of research before this, but yeah, she's awesome. Um, I've listened to most of her stuff, and even recently she had an album that was almost more like a Broadway musical about like women's rights and stuff, probably last year. And it was a little bit dramatic. It was kind of different than what she did before, but yeah, her voice can do anything pretty much, is what I'm trying to say. Like some vocalists can just do anything, and she's one of those people. But yeah, she's been around for a long time. All right, so that's the females. Now we'll move to the men. This is Otis Redding. Nobody really needs to, you know, hear me speak about this. Otis Redding, legendary voice, Dock of the Bay. And I got this on vinyl a couple years ago. And I just did, if you're new to my channel as well, I also do another thing every week where I take one of my songs and I try to turn it into an actual song with real guitar chords and verse choruses and bridges. And I try to explain how the song sounds in my head the best way I can. And I just did a song called Kid Kansas, which you could look up. It's called the Anatomy of a Song series. I have eight songs so far. The last one I did is pretty much inspired by the Otis Redding type of voice, Charles Bradley, Otis Redding, and it's called Kid Kansas. If you're talking about soul music, it's hard not to think of Otis Redding, really. He's probably the first person people think of, at least for me, at least. And yeah, to have that powerful guttural voice where you sing from your butthole, like I try to do. Yeah, it's power. Like, I don't know, you just have to go balls to the wall and not care about people's judgments and just belt it out. Like, I wish I could sing like this. If I could sing like any kind of style, it would be this type of music because it's just the most powerful. Soul, there's a bit of gospel, soul, blues in it, and it's just powerful music. It's crazy powerful. I guess that's my new. I was saying amazing all the time. Now I'm going to say powerful, like every other word. But yeah, there's no other way to describe his voice. It's just, and yeah, I think he had kind of a tragic end to his life, but he put out some great music. And yeah, there's not much more I could really say. I'm not sure what year this came out, late 60s. And yeah, if you never really got into Otis Redding or the movie The Commitments, I always thought about The Commitments because it's cool to see a bunch of like white people sing soul music because that would be really cool. Like, I love that movie, The Commitments. Like, if you never seen that, I think it's 1991. It's a bunch of like Irish people in Ireland, and they start a soul band where they cover Otis Redding and people, and it's pretty cool. Like, to see how they get through those songs. I think Glenn Hansard's actually in it, which I found out recently. But that's one of the best music movies. It's funny. It's got great soundtrack, and yeah, soul music is just a fun type of music. And I wish I could sing like that. It's almost even like more guttural than like punk screaming. Like, you have to get down deep, man. And I got trouble with that. I can't get down like those furthest reaches of my gut. Like, it's tough to sing like that. I picked Neil Young as well, just because maybe I could try to mimic his style. I don't think I'll ever be able to mimic Otis Redding or people like that. Like, I'm being realistic about my vocal ability. I'm not saying that Neil Young isn't a powerful singer, but it's a different style. He's got some mellow stuff that I could kind of, like a song like Albuquerque, which I love, or some of the other mellow stuff that you could really just play with an acoustic and there's an accessibility to people who aren't really professionally trained to sing folk songs like this. And Neil Young, Like he's been doing it for what, like since the late '60s or whatever, or early '60s. I don't know. And to have that many albums where he explored so many genres and stuff, like yeah, I respect anyone who keeps doing it for that long and doesn't get bored with it and doesn't um I don't want to say sell out. Like, I don't really believe in that word selling out. Like of course any artist wants to make money. I was gonna say artists that stick around for 40, 50 years and don't sell out, but I don't even know what that means anymore. But I don't feel like Neil Young ever made music that he didn't was proud of or anything. I'm not saying everything's great that he's done, but I don't think he's an artist that would put something out that he's not proud of. Yeah. So there's some later albums that I heard recently because I went down the Neil Young rabbit hole, and there's some later albums from the last few years that are really good. Yeah, this is gonna bug me. I'll put it in the description. I want to say it was called Toast, but that doesn't sound right to me. But it was just a rocking album. It might be called Toast, but I'll write it in the description of the. I completely fell in love with it. One of the newer Neil Young albums. So he's still going strong, man. He's got just an instantly recognizable voice. It's very peaceful and soothing, but he can get grungy too, and I respect that. Where he can perform different types of music like that, and yeah, one like he's Canadian, so I couldn't put him on the best like American songwriters, but if he was, yeah, he's of course on the Mount Rushmore of just great songwriters. You could probably do a Canadian one, him, Leonard Cohen, and I don't know, I'm probably forgetting people. If it's only, well, Joni Mitchell, if you want to mix the sexes up. The Mount Rushmore of Canadian songwriters. I don't know. Rush. This is another kind of soulful, powerful voice that I found. This album cover is kind of trippy. I don't know if I could ever dress like this and get away with it. It's Don Covey. Don Covey. Different strokes for different folks. Pretty cool name. 70 something. I learned of Don Covey. I hope I'm saying his name right. And the Jefferson Lemon Blues Band. I learned of Don Covey just then because I found this song. I think it was called "The Mind Is a Terrible Thing to Waste," and it just was an instant classic for me. I put it in one of my screenplays. I think it's called "The Mind Is a Terrible Thing to Waste." Don Covey. I don't know how I found it. I think I was looking for a song, something to do with hallucinations, with the screenplay I was writing called Expanding Universe, which I talked about before. The lead character is kind of going through a mental breakdown, and the song just fit my story so well. I think it's like a waltzy song, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But look it up, man. It's a classic song. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. I think I'm saying that. If I'm getting that wrong, I'll put it in the description. But look him up. His voice is crazy. I kind of compare this album to like a Rolling Stones album. I'm not saying it's as polished or maybe the songs are not as radio friendly, but there's nothing bad on this album. I think he's just pouring out his whole entire soul into this. He's got a screaming voice like Otis Redding, but he goes like to another place. Like he just screams it like James Brown or something. Like I don't know how people sing like that. Even Dave Grohl and people like that just scream like that. I don't know how they do it and not just kill their voices. It's crazy. I don't know. It's something about that type of singing is like you're purging like all the demons inside of you or something. It's a spiritual connection to your body. And I'm trying to, I can't be screaming and stuff. Maybe at some point I could learn how to do that. But I just want to be able to keep a melody. I just want to keep a simple melody and get away with it and kind of like learn the tricks of the trade to mask my inhibitions and become more brave as a performer. But I realize, I got to be practical of what I'll be able to do. But, it's kind of interesting to see how I progress because I know I'll never get it. I don't want to say I'll never be able to sing like this, but I'm being realistic. Like, I'm not going to be able to sing like this. It's just a type of guttural screaming. I'll never be able to like do the punk stuff like Henry Rollins or somebody. Like, I don't think I have that inside of me to get like crazy passionate, or maybe I could do the Jello Biafra like Dead Kennedys type of voice when I do punk songs and stuff. But not to say he doesn't sing like just as powerfully. He just has a different inflection or a different way to pronounce his stuff and breathing. I'm trying to find my voice is what I'm trying to say in this video. And even though I know I'll never sing like some of these people, like I can still appreciate it for what it is. Like they're just amazing vocalists. And yeah, this album, if you never heard of Don Covey, this is different strokes for different folks. It's a fun album. If you like the Rolling Stones and type rock, soul stuff like that, then you probably like this. I remember thinking there's a couple of songs that could have been like crazy hits for the Rolling Stones or somebody because they're really catchy and fun songs. I gotta listen to it again. When I first got into it, I was listening to this a lot, and then I kind of lose interest after a while. Another powerful voice, Richie Havens. This one's called Something Else Again. But there's another album by him I love called Stonehenge, I think. Because he's got that spiritual, more of a spiritual consciousness to his music. Almost like Indian raga stuff sometimes. But, he did a lot of Beatles covers and a lot of covers like that. I think he opened the Woodstock. He was like the first performer. And yeah, even this one, he's covering Maggie's Farm. And yeah, there's some political stuff. But yeah, Richie Havens is just cool, man. He's just a cool guy. His voice is kind of unique. He's got a deep voice, but it's unique. You can tell it's him if you hear a song. You'll instantly know his voice. And I love his voice. It's just cool. He can play amazing instruments, guitar. I think he plays sitar as well. And yeah, he's pretty talented, and he's very, very talented. The spiritual dimension of his music and the way he can connect and cover a Beatles song and make it his own, that's influential to me because that's what I try to do. When I say I'm going to cover a Neutral Milk Hotel, I know I can't do it exactly like Jeff Mangum. If I cover No Effects, I can't sing like Fat Mike. I'm not trying to mimic people. I'm trying to sing with an authentic voice, and maybe I'll get there at some point because I don't want to be fake in how I'm singing or lack the passion to get through a song like that. And I don't practice it enough. I know, I'm aware of that. Like, if real performers, musicians that go like play at a bar every weekend or whatever, I'm sure they practice every day, and I don't do that. I don't practice enough. I feel like I could get better if I practiced more. I'm only covering one song a week. That's my goal, at least with my series. And my main thing is just to make it into my own style so it's not boring, and I'm not trying to copy another artist and how they sing or whatever. Because that's how I was for most of my life. I'm not trying to do that. I want to sing like myself, and it's tough to find a voice. But Richie Havens, he's got some newer albums too, and his old stuff is crazy good. I think there's this like song of for Ramon or something that was kind of interesting to me a couple years ago. And yeah, he got some political stuff as well. Yeah, his voice in terms of male vocalists, like he would be in my top 10. Richie Havens, yeah, he's got just a killer voice, and he would also be in my top whatever. Ray Charles, like, yeah, his voice is awesome. He could sing anything, and I don't know, it's a classic voice. It's instantly recognizable as Ray Charles. I don't listen to him enough because it does have that soulfulness that soothes you. And just in terms of vocal control, controlling your vocals to suit a type of music, whether it's gospel, soul, or if he's going a little bit more passionate, he could, I'm not an expert with all of Ray Charles's stuff, but at least on this album and some of the other ones I heard, but he could do so many different types of music. And you know, when I do these videos about vinyl record, I don't want to just make up stuff because I want to be as authentic as I can be. Like I don't know all the stuff. Oh, this was produced by this guy, and he recorded this back in this year with these great ensemble of musicians. Like, yeah, I could do the research and kind of memorize that stuff and sound more educated on these, but I just want to speak off the top of my head and recommend albums that I really truly do love. And doing all that research, it might be good to educate people because I do like watching people's videos about records and finding something new based on something they said while discussing an album. But everyone knows Ray Charles. If you want to learn about him, you could just easily just learn about him. You don't need me to educate you. Everyone knows about Ray Charles. The Jamie Foxx movie was really good. Um, yeah, I like gospel. I like soul music. I like blues stuff. And it seems like he could mix all those genres together. And even country stuff. Yeah. If he's trying to interpret country music or whatever, like that's cool to me. He could just take a song and make it his own, which is maybe the theme of this entire video, which I'm trying to work on myself. It's tough to interpret another musician's song and make it your own. And yeah, but yeah, there's so many other artists I could have picked, but Willie Nelson, I love his voice. Female vocalist, Alice Phoebe Lou. But I don't have any vinyl by her, but her voice is just crazy, man. Other artists I already talked about, but this is in my book. It's in my book, my favorite female vocalist, and I include some of my favorite male vocalists. I made a Spotify playlist of all my favorite female singers and stuff. And yeah, the whole point of this is just to prepare for my book release. I'm just trying to describe some of the music that has been pivotal in my life. And everyone probably heard of most of these artists. Is there anyone, maybe Don Covey? Maybe some people never heard of Don Covey, but he was pretty popular. I don't know. Was he really that popular? I don't know. The Dia Victoria. I think a lot of people have heard of Amanda Shires, and Phoebe Bridgers got like crazy popular. So I'm not really picking any obscure artists. These are all pretty well-known people, but it's undeniable that these are some of my favorite vocalists and favorite musicians. And hopefully this gives people an idea of where I'm coming from. Because the title of my book, again, is the the hypothetical poet, my life and lyrics from 2006 to 2024. And it has 54 albums that I've written since then for the last 20 years, and probably close to 500 songs or so. And it's it's not just a lyric book. It started that way, and then I was like, people don't know me. I have to at least kind of introduce myself to people. Why do people want to buy my book and read my lyrics? There's no reason. If you don't even know me, why would you want to read my lyrics or read my songs and all that stuff? So I kind of had to introduce myself, and I wrote a little preface before every album before you get to the lyrics, so you understand where I'm coming from in my head. And it was a good experience. I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's also that it's a way to empty out your head. I got 400 to 500 songs in my head, and it's like I need to get them out. Not that they're like negatively affecting my cognition, but it's like I want to share them and get them out of my head and put them out somehow. So I'm like, well, I can't record stuff right now, so I'm going to just put them out as poetry, even though they are songs. And that's what this book is. It's getting all the songs I've written over the last 20 years onto paper. Why do people want to read these things? Well, I don't know. I think it's kind of an interesting underdog story. That's how I would market myself pretty much, because I never thought I'd be doing this really. Like back in the early 2000s, like I would share songs on like MySpace and other sites, but maybe I was always kind of interested in doing this because I did it in college too. Like I would share some of my demo songs on random websites and stuff. But I don't think I really took it seriously until the last 4 or 5 years. And even writing a book wasn't in my head until maybe 2022. So this wasn't my plan, is what I'm trying to say. Like, this was never my plan to do it in this fashion, but that's just the path I took. Somehow I got to this point. So yeah, most people that write books like this are known people in an artistic community. Nobody knows who I am. So I'm just trying to put myself out there and explain some of the influences that have developed over my life. And that's pretty much the point of these videos. I'm going to make some more videos throughout the next week or so. I'm probably done with sharing records because I don't have that many records left to share. And maybe I did 40 or 50 records already. But I'm going to share some of my favorite music books that helped me write my own book. I'm going to share like a chapter of my book and try to read it like an audio book. I'm going to discuss some of the marketing stuff that I'm concerned with and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's kind of interesting to document this as I'm going to release the book on May 1st, or as long as I'm done with the editing, sometime in May, I guess. Ideally, I would release it on May 1st and then take a break from all this stuff. But I'll see how the timeline goes. It's not anything that's like set in stone or anything. But that's it. I'm like 40 minutes. If you stayed for this whole video, yeah, hopefully there's some music that you can check out right now.